Alright, so how exactly am I going to do this? This is my first real janky recording of a video. I've got Audacity on one screen. I've got Kerbal Space Program with Xbox Game Bar recording on the other. Hopefully I can somehow find a way to mash these two together and make something that doesn't look or sound like crap. Anyway, first video with dialogue. I guess having watched YouTube for so many years, seeing people talking at cameras, I've gotten really good at talking to myself. Or pretending there's a camera in the room, or a microphone, whatever. Anyway, hello world. This is just gonna be me nerfing around and futzing around and seeing if I can get this ICBM design finally figured out. I've been working on this for the past several days. I attended Open Sauce this past weekend in San Mateo. Really great time. Awesome. Met some really cool people. Saw a lot of amateur rockets. Some really cool stuff. And it got me thinking. Anyway, so I have designed this. The finalized design, well, I should say finalized, still sort of a work in progress, but the most advanced design of ICBM I've done. So originally the one you saw in the first video was a liquid fuel design that is not entirely accurate considering the Minuteman III and most modern ICBMs, as far as I can tell, use entirely solid fuel designs, except for maybe the uppermost stage where you need some throttle control. So I've designed this. Yes, I've used a bit of tweak scale, but nothing egregious besides it does the job, and I'm not really clipping any parts or doing anything egregiously stupid with it. Anyway, so we've got a first stage here, solid rocket motor. Again, slightly modified. This one's been scaled up a lot since the original one from Canis is really small, but I wanted to use it because, like at least as far as I could tell, like the real you'll see when I launch it. Like the real Minuteman III, it has 4 nozzles, so like 4 smaller SRBs inside the casing. I believe that's how the Minuteman III is designed. Then we have a midsection motor. I've took some of the solid fuel out of this thing because if I were to pack both of these with all their solid fuel, we would overshoot the target by a lot, considering the Minuteman III is designed for Earth. Kerbal, the planet, is 1/10 the scale of Earth. If I were to make this thing exactly like the Minuteman III, I would basically have enough Delta V to go to the moon, probably. Or in this case, the moon. So yeah, I don't need all that. I don't need all that juice. Anyway, let's see. Smaller motor, retro rockets to fire that away. We've got a small liquid fuel motor in here. I don't want to take this off because then the fairing deletes itself for some reason. Small liquid fuel motor. This is the guidance module that I've developed. I've stuck some RCS on here, even though the reaction wheel in here is doing most of the work. That's mainly just so that I can translate forward and back, so when I release the warheads, this thing is traveling backwards so it doesn't end up colliding with them again when it hits the atmosphere. And then, yes, unlike the previous 2 designs, I have finalized it with, like the real Minuteman, 3 MIRVs that release sequentially, as you can see here in these top few stages. So anyway, I'm not sure how long I can record this, so let's... Oh, there's one already on the runway. Oh, we'll fly this one. Anyway, yeah, I had a previous game. I guess the game crashed and it was on the launch pad, so it stayed there, I guess. So we'll fly this one. It's the same thing. Anyway, this is completely live. I'm not recording this post or anything since I still have no idea how I would do that. So yeah, I'm going to be flying this thing in real time. Now, unlike all, ICBMs in real life, there is, as far as I know, even with BD Armory, no way to fully automate this design. I've tried with BD Armory. There is a little thing called the Modular Missile Controller or Guidance Module, whatever. It does not work at all. It is really janky, and it says experimental in the description for a reason. Anyway, so I don't need to throttle up because, yeah, we're not. This is solid fuel. No need to throttle. And here we go. Okay. Wow, this thing gets going real quick because it's a solid fuel now. No need for spool up times for a liquid fuel engine or anything. Alright, so we begin our first pitch over maneuver, slight rotation to align so that we are heading just a bit to the north because we are actually a good distance south of the KFC here at the Desert Airfield. Alright, start pitching over pretty quick. Unlike the previous design with the liquid fuel motor, I am going to be doing a very hard gravity turn in this thing. Because as it's kind of unrealistic to have as high of an apogee as I did in that previous model. Okay, so central motor, net fires. Third motor. Try to keep our perigee from going absolutely ridiculously high, or apogee from going ridiculously high. That separates. Fairing deploys. I don't know why it doesn't want to come off properly. And throttle up. Okay. And we begin moving our target to the KSC. Again, this is being recorded entirely live. This is literally my first time ever recording a YouTube video, and this is literally only my second YouTube video. I figured the first one was not going to do too well because there was literally zero talking or anything. It was just live gameplay, but no talking. And I kind of knew from the beginning that it wasn't really going to be a successful video. I mean, the algorithm doesn't care for Kerbal Space Program stuff these days as it is. But anyway, yeah, so I'm talking now. Hopefully somehow after this I can mash these two together because I've got, you know, Audacity recording on my right screen. I've got Kerbal Space Program and Xbox Game Bar recording on the left-hand screen. I will try to time these together. I will consult with some people I know that know a thing or two about video editing more than I do, considering I know nothing about video editing. Also, pardon the mic. I'm literally using my Logitech webcam mic right now since I do not have a functioning headset mic. My $30 Turtle Beach headset I got back in 2020 finally, well, the headset is already finicky, but the mic bit the dust. The computer refuses to recognize the mic on that thing. And it cuts out, like, every time I use Discord with it. So, I really don't feel like using it to try and record my first YouTube video, because that would be a shame if it suddenly decided to crap out in the middle of the recording. Anyway, so, especially because this is live, so I'd have to start all over again in-game and, you know, voiceover. So, yeah. I guess it's a good thing I have a really beefy PC so that I can run all this at the same time. Plus, as it is, the graphics mods I have in KSP require pretty beefy PC, where I'm running a, let's see, I'm running an Intel Core i7-14700K with 32 gigs of DDR5 memory, and a PNY NVIDIA 4080 Super for spec-wise. And again, you kind of need it when you're playing Kerbal Space Program with this many visual enhancement mods with, you know, ray traced water and volumetric clouds and rain and sunsets, and it's beautiful. It looks more like KSP2, and it's better than KSP2 ever was or ever will be. That being said, you also kind of need a pretty beefy machine to run it. That being said, though, some of these mods do actually optimize certain features of KSP's rendering system that are, frankly, pretty terrible stock, considering the game itself is from 2011. It's pretty old. The version of Unity this thing originally ran on is very antiquated by modern Unity. So, okay, we're approaching the target here. So, there are mods like, I'm pretty sure, deferred rendering changes it rewrites the game's lighting engine to be a bit more advanced, while at the same time making things look pretty and run better. Why is it wobbling like that? Okay. Now, let's see, we aim normal, raise it just a little bit to the north. And based on past experience, the MIRVs will tend to move the target prograde a bit when I fire them off, simply due to the, added force of the decouplers and the gas generators that spin them. They're really just miniaturized, scaled down Separatrons, but in reality they'd be like a cold gas thruster or something. Anyway, yeah, so really not much left to do here. Just coast to about, I usually fire the MRVs off at about, oh shoot, no, sorry, I'm not way too low. At about, I want to say 90,000 kilometers, or yeah, 90,000 meters, so about 9 kilometers. Here we go. MIRV 1 deployed, MIRV 2 deployed, MIRV 3 deployed. Okay, and these are entirely passively stable. I have these little tiny controllers on here, mainly just so that I can tell them to fire the warheads once they're through the atmosphere. Plus, something I noticed, these base warheads do not have very good aerodynamic qualities. It's something to do with BD Army. They love to just skip off the atmosphere and, like, okay, look, perfect. Aim is literally on the spot. Yeah, these MIRVs have a really good tendency to just kind of flop around in the atmosphere. So I put these have their reaction wheels disabled, but they provide just a little bit of aerodynamic forces, enough to keep these things stable when they're going through. Yeah, you can see it tries to wobble a little, but A, the spin, B, the guidance module does that. And then at the last second, I jettison the guidance module and just fire the MRVs themselves. Are we gonna overshoot? I don't think so. It really looks like we're gonna overshoot. Why is it? Oh. Ah, damn. Yeah, we're really gonna overshoot. And something I've noticed, these things do not work when they hit water. I don't know why. Yeah. Oh, damn. Maybe if I deploy these at the last second, they'll hit the beach? If I get them going just vertically? Oh, shoot. I hit jettison, not... This is going well. Nope, they're gonna hit the water. And, again, for some... Oh, it did work. But only 2 of the 3 detonated. Again, also, I don't understand why this is so redonkulously huge. I've seen other videos using this same weapon in BD Armory, like from SW Dennis with his ICBM, and it was not nearly this big. I don't know if this is supposed to be for RSS, where the planet is Earth scale, again, 10 times bigger. Yeah, the explosion's a little ludicrously big. Also, I cannot see anything. My camera, also, yeah, for some reason, when you do this, the camera has the tendency to, go kind of crazy. Oh, there's the guidance module. Where are we? I can't see anything. Oh, okay, there we are. Yeah, again, this BD Armory, very old, updated, so it works with 1.12.5, but the graphics are a little old, so, yeah, the cloud particles aren't exactly as nice as the other graphics clouds I have, as you can see here. They don't, yeah, look at the difference here. Low poly clouds, very, very high poly clouds. Also, for some reason, I can, like, see that through the... Oh, it went away. Also, why is my camera all the way over here? Shoot. Well, let's see if I can... Did we destroy the KSC? Yeah, we did. Mission accomplished. Alright. I'm going to revert the flight because I don't feel like having to rebuild the KSC one thing at a time. Plus, just, yeah, easier on my part. But yeah, actually, this gives me an opportunity to show off the design a little in the VAB. So, there it goes. Okay, so this is just a structural tube with a hinge piece and a little fairing on top. Just acts as a missile silo. In reality, I would have to bury this really deep underground. There's, as far as I know, zero way to do that in KSP. So, yeah. Okay, so here's what I was talking about with the four separate. This is solid fuel, and they're gimbaled, but they're four separate like SRBs inside there. This deploys as 4. You can't really see it though during the launch because we're kind of cooking through the atmosphere by that point. Yeah, this is honestly surprisingly successful design. Oh no, the MRVs, are they clipping into the fairing? No, just barely not. Okay, really form-fitting fairing there. Yeah. Again, a bit of use of tweak scale on this thing. Nothing I'd say is too egregious. Obviously part mods. We've got Knez, we've got Blue Dog. I think this is from Tentaris. This is Knez, I believe. Obviously BD Armory for the weapons themselves. I believe this booster is just a really heavily tweak scaled up. Let's see. If I go to which booster is this? Carib D Chunky. I believe that is, and I've got so many parts here. Oh man, where is it? Yeah, when you have as many parts as I do, I gotta find some like way to like organize these by the mod. Okay, here we go. That's this. So yeah, this is how big it normally is. I had to scale it up. Again, it's still pretty realistic, I'd say. It doesn't have an absurd amount of fuel, and I would think it has a similar thrust-to-weight ratio that the real Minuteman 3 has, considering if you've seen the video clip I sent of the original animation done back in 2007 by Northrop Grumman, that thing gets up and moves once it leaves its silo. So yeah, again, it's called the Minuteman for a reason. It's a really fast response, armed and ready to go in like a minute, and then out the tube and into the atmosphere real quick. I think the transit time between launch and impact, or I should say detonation, these impact the ground. In reality, they should airburst. Again, I've tried. BD Armory doesn't really have a way to tell you to detonate at a certain altitude. It says detonation distance override. I have no idea what that does. Setting it to 6, I thought, for like 6,600. I don't know. It doesn't do anything. Anyway, yeah. The Minuteman. Oh God, where was I? Oh man, I completely lost track of thought. Oh yeah, the Minuteman is like really fast. The transit time, I'm pretty sure that's classified from launch to detonation. But I mean, it can't be very long. The whole point of these things is to be really fast, considering the more time they spend transiting, the more time you have to intercept them with a exoatmospheric kill vehicle or something like that. So yeah, this is, I named it the Nimbus because Nimbus is the fictional aerospace company that I've been making in this game, with all my aircraft and stuff being made by them. So yeah, think of it, I watch a channel called Messier82. He does a lot of stuff in the game called Flyout. He built his own fictional aerospace company and stuff like that. So yeah, I just kind of went with that. But anyway, I call this the Sentinel. The original one you saw in the first video, that was the Sentinel-1. It was kind of a prototype, just designed to really test this upper stage guidance module. The Sentinel-2 was another prototype just testing SRB designs. This is the Sentinel-3 where I decided to add the 3 MIRVs. Again, I wish they had gone a little more smoothly deploying. Again, I kind of missed one and they kind of overshot a little. Again, it's really, you just got to tweak it very ever so carefully during that guidance phase. And again, the thing is because the little Separatrons fire and the decouplers do have a little force, that little red X, you have to undershoot a little because when you deploy the MIRVs, that will move a bit. Anyway, yeah, expect to see more. Now that I think I figured out a, albeit rather janky way to record audio and video, yeah, expect to see more and hear more, especially hear more now that you can hear me talk. Anyway, thanks, folks. I hope somebody ends up seeing this and getting a few views. Honestly, yeah. Anyway, thanks. Hope you enjoyed watching. Bye bye.